Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is the second talk in a series on the principles of Islamic pedagogy. In this, we were going to discuss how switching to an Islamic mood requires paradigm shifts on all fronts. Both the substance and the style of teaching changes. In particular, I'm going to concentrate on describing the fellow traveler model. So to begin with, we must understand that knowledge is of two kinds. One is the knowledge of the external reality. This is the main concern of the West. This is what is called science. But there is also knowledge of the internal self, who I am, my heart, my emotions, my soul, my feelings, my desires. So this knowledge is not part of science. And Allah Ta'ala mentions both of these in this ayat, which is displayed on this slide. So, as we have discussed, in order to find out whether knowledge is useful or useless, we must connect it. We must connect the external reality to the internal reality, in the sense that if I know who I am and what is my purpose, then only I can find out how to use the knowledge of the world to become a better person, to travel on this journey towards God. So Islamic knowledge uses the knowledge of external and internal reality to develop our human capabilities. On the other hand, the West is concerned mainly with the external world, and it uses humans as tools, as resources, as instruments to create desirable changes in external reality. For example, economics, we have the production function, in which you put in some machines and some labor and get some production. So human beings are just tools, just instruments, just resources. In an Islamic society, everything, wealth and materials, are used to create a nurturing environment for human development. In a market society or a capitalist society, all things are meant for the single purpose of production of wealth. Whether it's human beings, whether it's animals, trees, rivers, everything is just meant to be used only for the production of wealth. So obviously, this means that there are two different types of knowledge, and there are different goals for these different types of knowledge. So in the Western methods that we have learned for teaching, we have learned the leader-follower model. The teacher is the leader, he is the expert, he has the knowledge. The student is ignorant, he is the follower, and the teacher takes a body of knowledge and gives it to the student. So this is the leader-follower. As opposed to this, in the fellow traveler model, both teachers and the students are companions. We are together in the search for knowledge. Now, when it comes to external world, the expert and ignorant student model is sort of workable, although it is not a good model even in that situation. But when you have the fellow traveler model, when you have inner knowledge, knowledge of my heart and my soul and my purpose, then the expert model is useless, because every person is an expert on his or her own self. So the teacher can only act as a guide, that let us all work together to improve ourselves as people. So I'm not an expert on who you are, and only you can be. So in that case, the only natural model for internal journey, for a travel which, for an education which changes our lives, the only possibility is to use a fellow travel model. I cannot be an expert and tell you how to live your life. There are many reasons why the expert models, which we are all using as teachers these days, because that's what we learned, this has severe deficiencies and it fails. One of them is that in the West there is a severe problem of fragmentation of knowledge. In particular, there is a split and duality between theory and application. So all we learn in our courses is theory, but we never learn how these theories are actually used in the real world. So when the teacher knows the theory, if the student asks him, what good is this? The teacher cannot answer because he or she does not know. They only learned the theory. They never learned how to apply it. So the teachers are aware that what they are teaching is useless because they have never been able to use it in all of their lives. And so the only thing that the teaching is good for is to pass the final exam. So teachers, because they don't know how to use the theory, and they also feel uncomfortable and in their lack of expertise, they lack self-confidence, and they compensate for this by keeping the students remote and distant, and that so that the student cannot learn that they are without knowledge, and they stick to the book, and they discourage deeper conversations about the subject matter. So in order to move to an Islamic model for teaching, we have to do a real paradigm shift. We have to change both what we teach and how we teach it. So in terms of substance, and we'll get into this much more deeply later on, the goal is to teach students how to drive, not how the engine works. Today, most of our teaching is about how the engine works, but very little to none of it is about teaching how to drive. You might teach macroeconomics, but we don't teach students how they should take decisions about monetary policy. We might teach microeconomics, but we don't teach students what are the real drivers of consumer behavior, how we can avoid israf and tabzir, how we can consume wisely. So all of these things, the practical side is not taught. Only theories which are mostly wrong or misleading are taught. So once we switch to the question which we must ask, how can this subject matter be used to improve lives, then only we can inspire and motivate students. So we have to adapt all of the learning that we do to be useful to human beings. And then if we teach such material, then we can ask the students to use this knowledge for the benefit of humanity. And this is a higher intention. And this intention will make our studying and teaching into an act of worship. So in the leader-follower model, the student commands respect because of his knowledge and expertise. And the secret fear of the teacher is that, what if the students find out how little I know? So they keep distant and aloof and don't encourage closeness to students. The follower, the fellow traveler model is based on an entirely different set of ideas. I, as a teacher, and the students, we are companions. We are searching for knowledge. How can we use this knowledge to do the best of all deeds? This is what Allah Ta'ala asked for us. خَلْقَ الْمَوْتَ وَالْحَيَاةَ لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا لِيَبْلُوَكُمْ أَيُّكُمْ أَحْسَنُ عَمَلًا. He wants to see, Allah Ta'ala wants to see which of us can do the best deed. So we show each other what we can do, and we help each other to do the best of deeds. And we all know that all human beings have been created precious. So we help each other become the best person that we can be. So in this, the respect that the students have for the teachers is not based on the teacher being very knowledgeable. It's based on teacher having an excellent personality. And it's a relationship of mutual respect. The teacher must believe in the potential of the students, that the students can become Al-Farabi, Al-Sina, Al-Ghazali, Ibn Khaldun. Every single one of the students that we see has the potential to change the world. When we believe this, and we believe that our students have the potential for excellence, then we will treat them with respect, and they will also teach us with respect. They will also treat us with respect. We must have the desire, we must have the love for our students, we must have the desire to see our students achieve the greatest of goals and to become excellent personalities. And if we have this sincere desire in our hearts, so then the teacher is like the parent, and this emotion will convey to the student, and this will lead to his love and admiration and respect for us. We have all been trained in the Western method of teaching, and so it's really difficult for us to understand the fellow traveler model, because we have been trained to act like we are experts, we have the knowledge. And so to say that, to adopt the humility that is required, we need to change our attitude. And this attitude is taught to us by the angels in the Quran, who say, when Allah Ta'ala asks them, that we have no knowledge except that which you have given us. So all the knowledge that I have is a gift of God. It is not something I have earned. I cannot be proud of it. And all the treasure of knowledge belongs to Allah Ta'ala only, and He gives this treasure to whoever He wants to give it. So we cannot give knowledge even if we have it. We can only create the desire in their hearts to acquire knowledge. And how can this be created? Whatever the feeling is in our hearts, that is the feeling that the students will get. So only if we have the desire for knowledge, only if we are searching for it, and only if we value it, this feeling will convey to the students. So basically the key to the fellow traveler model is to get together with the students and pray, Rabbi Zidni Ilma, that, oh Allah, increase us in our knowledge. Together we are all ignorant, all knowledge belongs to you. Please give us from this knowledge the things that are valuable to us. All of these topics are treated in greater detail in a number of posts which are listed. Becoming a Great Teacher is a sequence of 4 posts which discusses many issues about how we can learn to teach better. Connecting Statistics to Reality explains how the statistics that I learned was mostly theory, and when I decided how to apply this statistic to solve real world problems, I found that this required changing the substance of what I teach. The third post, My Journey from Theory to Reality, it deals with the same topic but on a more personal level. And the search for knowledge explains the 2 types of knowledge and how research methodology changes if we are looking for knowledge which transforms lives, as opposed to knowledge which will change external reality. And then some lessons for teachers on how to inspire and motivate students, and how to make them reach beyond the stars. Subhanallah bihamdihi, subhanallahil azim.